Hey guys, Scott here, Pine Barren Craftsman. I just wanted to show you the logo on the hat that I wear. Clean money, dirty hands. Dirty hands, clean money. Troll company. I'll never buy another hat from another company again. Not that they're the best, hat ever that I've ever had on my head, because really my head's a big coconut. Nothing really works right on my head. But these type of hats, I've enjoyed wearing for a little while. The reason why I like this company, and it's going to be quick, they donate a portion of the proceeds to the veterans. That's it. I like hats. I like the style. I like what the subject matter is in the hats. It's basically blue collar. I tend to, appreciate blue collar where, men and women, whenever I run into them, hard working. Everybody's hard working one way or another. I mean, I could do white collar work. I could do blue collar work. I'm sure a lot of people can do that. They just choose to do certain things that they're passionate about. And I just really respect the company, and I'm not affiliated at all. However, I am going to call and I'm going to get another hat. They have like a hat program. I think you get another hat every month. It's pretty cool. And you're doing something good for our veterans. All right. So obviously I'm set up here today in my shop. I got my 80 Trans Am behind it. Please don't pay attention to the 6.6. This is a Chevy 350 under this hood here, and that's how I got it. This is a base model Trans Am, and somebody decided to dress it up. I should say base model Firebird. They put the Trans Am package on it. I didn't build this car, but I am repairing things that I'm finding wrong with it, and it's a project. And that's pretty much the topic of this video today. Is I want to go back to the generation that I grew up in. I keep going back in a lot of my videos, looking back, and I think it's painting a picture of who I am, that as I remember myself and as I know who I am now, and maybe you guys can relate. And maybe for the younger crowd that didn't live back then, doesn't know how it was, and I want to kind of like fill them in. I see a lot of people doing stuff from the 30s and the 40s and the 50s and the 60s, muscle cars, 70s. And there's an era, there's a time frame when I was born, 1982, and when I started discovering cars. And it's fitting because today I just started putting up a calendar from 2022 that we're done with, that we got from Napa, and I'm putting up the pictures in my kid's room there on the wall, all the calendar pictures. I cut off all the dates, and we're going around with like a border in his room. And this is right when I started getting into cars, 6, 7, 8. Hot Wheels. So that's pretty much when the passion started, Hot Wheels, looking at the cars, getting real close up to them. I think I got one of my original ones over here on the wall. Just real quick. Old Hot Wheels. This might be Matchbox. This is Hot Wheels. This is like the Trans Am, man. I love this car. Like, I even crushed the hood down and the roof down on it. Like, probably stepped on it. So the deal with this is, I grew up into it from that, like anybody else playing with little kids' cars, right? And then you get into maybe getting into your bicycle. You start to get your hands dirty. I think I got some of the first wrenches I ever held in my hand was changing a tire on my BMX bike, or my little, I think it was a hand-me-down from my sister. I had a pink bike. I painted it charcoal black, like the barbecue grill color. But it still had that bar that went down for the girls, but it was pink, and it had black. It was the darkest thing ever. But that's when you start getting into like using hand tools. I think I was using a SK ratchet for the first time. That sound's still in my ear. I can hear it. And then the bike thing, right? Racing, all that stuff. And then you get your driver's license. So you start coming into like seeing your other buddies that might be older than you, getting their driver's license, older brother. And you start looking at cars like this. This is what was driving around. 1987 was a brand new 87 Trans Am, which I showed you, probably an 87 third gen or fourth gen. No, I'm sorry, third gen body style Trans Am there. This is a second gen. But that's what was on the roads like kids that were fixing up stuff that were 20 years old, 10 years old. So you look in the 70s, and then you've seen brand new cars in the 80s. And in the 90s, when we were going to high school, middle school, high school, these cars were affordable, You could still get them now. This car, you could probably get for $5,000, $8,000, $10,000. If it's an original numbers matching, it's 87, 80, not 87, 78, 79. They're pretty hot right now. Anniversary cars. But that's what we were looking at, Brand new cars. Yeah, we were in a neighborhood. We were in a town where people can afford, new cars and whatnot. And kids were, coming to school in like parents' cars. They let them lease or finance in the payments. I had my first car I talked about in the past videos was a diesel Mercedes that I couldn't learn how to drive on. It was a 4-speed, so we got rid of that. 81 diesel Mercedes. And then I had an 86 Cutlass with no reverse. You watch one of the other videos, you can hear me talking about pushing the car out of parking spots. And then I went to get an 87 Trans Am. And that was a 305. It wasn't a GTA. It was a smaller body style, a smaller motor, I should say, a cubic inch. Same body style as the GTA. And, that's what kids were driving. They were driving Fox body Mustangs. In the parking lot, you'd see a convertible GT Fox body Mustang. You'd see a notchback if you were lucky, which is just a trunk coupe. We call them notchbacks. I think that's what they're called now. A lot of kids use that word, coupe or notchback. There was newer Trans Ams, like a 99. Somebody had like a 90, 97, 98, 99 Trans Am or Camaro. Me and my buddies, we liked muscle cars. We liked V8 cars. And then we had like the import scene kind of creeping in. It was like the Honda Civics, Preludes. Guys were driving Preludes with like the rear tires would turn the opposite direction as the front, so it would have it make a shorter turn. So we'd go hit the roads and try to see who's fast in the turns, or we'd go race, down at the track. But the cars that we saw, man, lowriders. I was involved with the lowriders. We liked static dropping cars because airbags were still really expensive for us. I know that there was kids in other towns that were doing airbags already, but all my friends we were hanging around, we didn't have the money for it, so we would just cut the coils, put a 4-inch block in the back of our S10 and slam them, or the Wings West kits for like the Civics was pretty cool. Guys were putting on like these import, like on their clips or whatever, Celicas. I had a friend with a Celica with a wing that was just like a big sail. And mud trucks. There was lifted trucks, 4-wheel drive trucks, Jeep guys. I don't remember a lot of mud trucks in the parking lot, but from that point forward, like mud trucks became a lot more hot, I guess. And then you could see like K5 Blazers, lifted Silverados, 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, whatever. People were lifting them, lowering them. But there was a C10. We used to go down to Pep Boys. I remember my buddies would go to Pep Boys to go get parts on Sunday, or get whatever we needed for the cars, or Saturday. And there was a guy with like a square body C10 step side, and it was primered. And it was like 454. Like everybody talked about it, and you always saw it parked in the guy's driveway. Like the backside was parked outwards, so you couldn't see the front. And we just look at that every time going by, or somebody had something in a yard. So that's basically the car story, the tale of the cars from my point of view, man. We looked at cars. We went down to the strip, down along the Seaside Bridge, down to Point Pleasant. We went along. Wherever you were driving, you were cruising, man. You were going to stop off at the gas station. You were going to get fuel. You were going to go out for the night. And, the type of cars, they're different than they are now. Like, I see a lot of 4-door sedans. Like, it was always like a 2-door muscle car, that we were into, or short bed pickup. Guys had long beds. Guys had different things. But, you wanted that sport look. Like this car. Like this car right now. This gap here that we got in the wheel well, that wouldn't be flying when we were out. Like, you don't want to see this. You want to see like maybe 1 or 2 fingers. I got 4 fingers here. one of the reasons why I got the car still up at stock ride height is because I'm on a dirt road. I got 6-inch pieces of stone that are sticking up in my driveway, like ready to rip the oil pan out. So it's gonna always be trucked out in this house. But this was like one of my dream cars. You know, I went for the 87 Trans Am because I couldn't find this one at the time when I was looking. And it's cool, man. Whatever your thing's into. A lot of guys now putting LS engines in here. But to me, this is a carbureted car. You know, this is meant to be carbureted. It's not the best. It's not the most efficient. You got to do jets. You got to do air-fuel ratio. You got to check that. And, you know, but that's what we were into. That's what we had. So when we get back into the nostalgia of it, it's kind of like you open it up and you want to see a carburetor. So a lot of guys are getting into these EFI carburetors that look like carburetors, but they're throttle bodies and they're all inclusive. So that's kind of cool. I mean, it's still got the look. You still got your nice valve covers. The LS stuff is great. You know, you got power there. It's lightweight. You got tunability. So look into the LS stuff, whatever, however, LSX, LX9, 10, 6, whatever. It's still expensive, whatever you're doing, you know. If I had to rebuild this engine, I'd probably look for a Pontiac engine. Put the Pontiac back in there, put a 4-speed or 5-speed manual in it just because I always wanted that. But for right now, I'm going to run it. You know, it's pushing maybe, you know, 300 horse, 325 horse if it's lucky. They said the guy I bought it from said it's a stroked out motor, if you know anything, stroker motors. It could be pushing a little bit more power than that, but the CFM's on it's not crazy on the carb. So 373 gears. It's got a little shift kit in it. Car goes. I like because it's not T-top, so I don't got to worry about a leak. Just talking about the car. Talking about history, man. There's projects that I've had, you know, Fox body Mustangs, Trans Ams. I've had a 48 Plymouth. I had a chopped 54 Chevy, a 53 Chevy Bel Air. I had another chopped car, Ford 4-door that was chopped. I don't even know how many cars. I've had a Model A, I've had Internationals. I've had probably about 50 cars, and I'm almost 41. So I tend to change my interests. I'd like to have some of them back, definitely. But it is what it is. You're supposed to have a hobby, in my opinion. Something that stimulates your mind and you can get excited about it. And I like seeing new things. My kid really likes this car. So I don't think I'd get rid of this now just because he fell in love with it. It's hard to say no to him. Maybe I'll push it over to the side if I get tired of it and bring something else in here. We got enough room maybe. But it's a good family car. It's got seat belts. The chopped 54 Chevy, you know, I had not a Mustang 2 front end, but I updated the front suspension, put discs on it. I put a rear leaf spring setup from Speedway Motors. That was a Camaro leaf rear end or a Nova Leaf rear end setup. So, you know, I've had my fair share of cars, and if anybody wants to hear more about them, I can talk a little bit more about any car that I have. You name it. I mean, I pretty much had it or know somebody that had it. And I never really got into the new stuff. Like beyond 2004 was like the newest thing I had until I bought this pickup truck, this 2017. And I'm thinking about getting rid of it. I think it's too new for me. You know, it's a lot of money tied up in a truck. I miss just not having a bill and having a nice car project. And yeah, you got to do a lot of work. The 04 Chevy Silverado, I just ripped the bed off, redid all the frame that was rotted. The gas tank was going to fall out of it. I did the rockers, the cab corners. I got videos and pictures of all that. So if anybody wants to see that stuff, you know, it's kind of mundane, just regular repairs. But if you guys want to learn about it, let me know. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. Okay, obviously go on and check out this troll clothing company, Dirty Hands, Clean Money. And that makes you think, right? Where's your money coming from? At the end of the day, you know where it's coming from. If the guy's hands are dirty, you know that he's been doing something to make his money, or girl. Whether it's art, whether it's painting, whether it's cutting hair, whether it's, you know, welding, any kind of those trades. It's all respect for me. You know, make sure you go with a professional if you're going to get stuff done on your house. If you're not sure, get a good mason, get a good welder if they're going to do something on your car that you can't do. Pay the extra money if you're nervous about it, and have a professional do it. So help support these guys and girls. Thanks for watching.